GCSE starting with confidence. We're looking at dividing with decimals. Now this is sometimes quite a hard thing to understand. Division can also be described as fractions, because obviously 3 divided by 4 is written like this, where this line here, the fraction line, is actually the division line. Just written 3 divided by 4, that's what a fraction is. But before decimals were invented, that was the way of showing it, and that was a lovely way, I think, and now have decided is the best way for anything. Fractions are wonderful. So if we were to write this as a fraction, we know that fractions really don't like decimals in them. So to make this a fraction that is a proper fraction, as in not with decimals in it, we would have to try and get rid of this decimal number on the bottom. So to do that we would multiply, because that's what we've got to do, the same thing top and bottom, so that it's the equivalent fraction that actually hasn't changed its overall value. So when we work out our final calculation, it's actually the same answer as this one. So this changes the sum to 9,360 divided by 3. Now, if you're not convinced, this was asking how many 0.3s go into that. This question we could now rewrite is how many 3's go into that. Both have got 10 times bigger, and if you check on your calculator, both sums are the same. This one and this one will give you the same answer. So if you were going to do this calculation, you would have put 0.3 divided into 936, but there is a decimal point there, and that's where the problem comes. There are no such thing as 2 decimal points, there's only one. So we've had to use this method to manipulate the sum into a sum we can do. And now we have one. So we've got 9360, we're going to use the bus stop method, and we're going to divide it by 3. 3's into 9 go 3, 3's into 3 goes once, 3's into 6 go 2, and 3's into 0 don't go. So that's your answer. 3,120. With this question, same thing involves, if we look at 535 divided by 0.05, can't divide by a decimal, it just doesn't happen. It's like dividing by fractions, you don't do it, you manipulate it and change it. So here we have to manipulate and change this, and we want to make this a whole number. To make this a whole number, that 5 has to move up to the units position, which means it has to move through 2 columns in the place value, which means we're going to multiply this number by 100, top and bottom, this fraction, so the actual overall value, result of the fraction, doesn't change. So you then end up with 53500 divided by 5. Get your bus stop out. And then look at each individual number. 5's into 5 goes once, 5's into 3 doesn't go. So we haven't used all that 3, which is actually 3,000. We haven't used any of them, in fact. So the whole of that 3,000 is going to go into the next one, which is hundreds, and make that 3,500. So obviously 3,500 is the same as 3,500, but we've just not used that one, so we've mushed it down. In fact, so then 5's into 35 goes 7, 5's into 0 don't go, 5's into 0 goes 0. Okay, it actually goes 0 times, I suppose. Okay, so your answer is 10,700. So 5 or 0.005 goes into that 10,700, which makes sense because that divided by 1 would be that divided by a half, 0.5, would be twice that, and that's 10 times smaller, so it's actually 10 times bigger. So it's twice that and then 10 times bigger. Have a think. And I'll put some more up when we get back to this properly. Okay, good luck.